Welcome back to the Talk and Chatter experience powered by Gasoline Alley Harley Davidson. Today's guest is artist and tattooist Carla Benzie. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for coming into the shop. Who is Carla Benzie?
Well, that's a good question. I am a 30-year-old artist that lives in Queensland.
Yep.
I have my own private tattoo studio, and I draw.
What got you into that?
Other things. Which part?
Well, yeah, just the drawing. I guess drawing's where it would have started at some point.
Yeah, so I've always drawn. I've sucked at reading and writing, so drawing was the next best thing, I guess. And that's how I got my way through school. Just drew in my maths books, my English books, and eventually made a living out of it.
Wow, so literally just got through the English and math part by drawing through?
Yeah, failed those.
Yeah.
Ended up dropping out of them.
Yeah.
Just picked up more art classes. And I've met most of my friends through art too, so it's kind of my whole life, really.
It's one of those things, I guess, just in general of the people you surround yourself with, the people that, influence you probably the most and whatnot. I guess that's the sort of thing that's happened to you as well.
Yeah. Well, I know, as soon as I left school, I steered away from the art world just because I didn't like the perception of going to galleries, and it just seemed real boring. That's why I went straight into tattooing. And then I found tattooists to be very interesting people, and their world is completely different also. So I went out by myself and thought if I do the best of both worlds, I can nail it.
Wow. And that's pretty much what you did?
Yeah, worked in a number of tattoo studios and learnt what I could from them and what I didn't want to do, and eventually just head out on my own, and now I draw part-time and tattoo part-time.
When you first started the art side of things at school, did you have a specific style, basically a style or anything then?
Anything with skulls and Grim Reapers and evil stuff.
That was the path.
Yeah, going to a Catholic school didn't go down too well. I think my mum copped a lot of grief from people saying I needed counselling, but she's pretty supportive, so
yep.
I still like doing skulls and Grim Reapers.
There's one constant that's lived through.
Yeah.
Did you have a family background in some sort of creative industry?
My mum's creative, and my dad used to be a draftsman. He used to create the plans for the naval ships before a computer replaced him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I got all his pencils and pens, and my mum would make ceramic pots and sell them at the market, and so they were very supportive.
Yeah. Because that job, I guess, the draftsperson job, just as much as it's obviously a really serious, very serious job, it's still a creative pursuit, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. I guess you need to want to know what you want to draw for it to happen on paper.
Yep. Wow. And that's, just seeing, I remember doing, graphics and that at school. The creative stuff's not my forte. It's really, actually not much at school really was my forte, but we'll get past that. But I remember just going through it, this is how you drew a 3D box. And I'm I just looked at it for, I think, a few lessons, and it's hard, hey?
See, that was the best part for me, because people like you would have come up to me and be like, can you do it for me? And I'd be like, yeah, right. We would have been buddies, because you would have been doing all my other subjects for me, and I would have been doing drawing. No,
I really wasn't good at much other stuff.
No, you could have played in the dirt with cars with me then.
Yeah, no, for sure. That would have been fine. So, wow. So that was where it started. Basically, art at school.
Yeah, pretty much.
And did you grow up around here?
No, I grew up in Canberra.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah, so there's not much to do down there. And my parents could never afford for us to go to the snow or go skiing. We'd go to the little local snow ground and go on the toboggan, but yeah, nothing really exciting. You couldn't go out on the weekend and just drive down to Byron Bay or up to the Sunshine Coast. Or
Got a pretty good lifestyle up here, hey?
yeah, it's
Really?
perfect.
Yeah. Climate, the location of everything that's around. It is a good spot.
If we were in Canberra right now, we wouldn't be wearing jumpers because this would be too hot. Like
Yeah, Canberra's odd like that. Eh? One day it'd be hot, one day it'd be freezing cold.
yeah, I got rid of all my old clothes. Like I don't wear gloves anymore or beanies. It's
Just ditched.
yeah, because it's not cold enough up here. Like it's cold for 2 hours in the morning and that's it.
Then it's done.
Yeah.
What's your how does somebody go from school into a tattoo studio?
So I finished school.
Yep.
And I was lucky because my mum moved to Queensland. And I said, I'm coming up. And I just walked into a tattoo studio with help from a family friend that we met. Because back then it was all bikie run. So I think his best mate was in a bikie gang. And so I went into Surface to one of the bikie shops and showed him my portfolio, and I was working the next week. And yes, I was there for a while, and then from there I moved to Brisbane to another studio, and I got that job within like 2 days of applying too. Like I've never had a problem with my portfolio. People just hire me, which is good.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing. Obviously, like a talent, like once you've got a talent like that, it's desirable at any position, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes life easy.
When did you do your first tattoo?
Probably I bought a really crappy machine off of eBay, and I had some really dumb friends that I did a few tattoos on. Yeah, a little bit embarrassing. It's like what you're not meant to do. I did it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just
I
no
got my
rules.
first tattoo as a home job, and I'm like, oh, if someone came up to me now and said that, I'd just shake their head, but I did it, so.
It's hard to judge, hey?
Yes.
Did you, like, is there much, and same deal, like, I don't know, is there much transfer from being drawing to tattoo?
Completely different. Like, every skin's different.
Wow.
Like, people are different. Like, some people's skin react different to other skin, and, you're working with a different canvas every day, whereas paper's not going to change and doesn't talk to you, and it's quite peaceful. It can be boring at times.
Was that a learning curve? The first time you tattooed on skin, was that a big learning curve, or was it something that you found natural straight away as well?
I think I wasn't born with much fear, or regret. So it kind
Just get into it.
went straight into it. And if that line was wobbly, it was like, oh well.
Yeah, let it be.
Like I don't really think too much about it.
Yep.
So I guess it helped, but sorry to anyone that...
Anyone in those first few experiences?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that first experience of being inside, the studio at the Gold Coast and stuff like that?
Oh, it was so scary. Like
Really?
if someone would walk in and they'd be like, all right, now you got to say hello to them and ask them if they need help. And I'd just sit and stare at them, and I'd be afraid to say anything because I'm like, well, if they don't ask for help, I shouldn't need to talk to them.
So how old are you at this point? You must be 17, 18
I
or
was
something?
just 18, just turned
Yeah.
18. And so, and I'd had to answer the phones, and it was called Bob's Pleasure and Pain. So Bob was a big bikie guy, and he'd ring me up all the time to test my phone management. And I'd be like, hi, it's Carla, this is Bob's Pleasure and Pain. And he'd be like, Carla, this is Bob. Hang up, answer it again. And I'm like, ooh, I'd have to hang up. And he'd ring up, and I'd have to be like, this is Carla from Bob's Pleasure and Pain. Like, and he's like, do it more manly. I was like, okay.
At 18?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that was a learning experience. And I had to learn to pierce too, and piercing wasn't something I was interested in. And I had no friends to practice on because I just moved from Canberra. So my mum's like straighty 180. I'm like, Mum, they're going to fire me if I don't do a piercing. So she's like, all right. So she came in, and I'm sitting there with the needle, like shaking, and I've just stabbed her in the ear with it. And she just sat there, but it's like pissing out blood, and it's very calm. But yeah. So then she brought all her workmates in, and I had to stab them in certain ways. And it was, they were all very patient with me. But I'm so sorry for them.
Did it ever become For the piercing part, did it ever become natural? Or was
No,
it
like
never?
like schoolies week, I think I did like 400 piercings in that week because it was right on
Seriously?
surface, yeah. And like they'd want septum piercings and like there's a certain way to pierce the septum, like you have to pin the skin down and try and get it between the cartilage and the skin.
Yep.
And I was never really taught properly. So I just kind of stabbed the cartilage until it went through. And then I'd find a gap and it'd go through and then I'd put the jewelry in it, it'd be crooked. And I'm like, it'll heal better. Off you go. Like,
Enjoy your schoolies.
yes. Yeah. So guys,
If you see anyone wandering around, what was this? How long ago? Say 30, 18 years ago. So anyone that's wandering around, late 20s now, there's got wobbly jewelry, crooked jewelry. Damn.
not a piercer now.
No, that part of the school.
Yeah, ditched that as soon as I could.
So you went from there into Brizzy?
Yeah.
And was that another...
That was another shop.
Yep.
Yep. I don't know if I can talk too much about shops I've been in and stuff.
Probably don't
Okay,
mention the
cool.
name of the shop. But you went to another shop.
I went to another shop.
Yep.
It was fun and it wasn't. There was like 12 tattooists there. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was full on.
So as a tattoo shop, like in somewhere like that,
Yeah.
busy to have 12 people, 12 artists,
Yeah.
is it always busy?
Yes and no. Like everyone did different styles and the mental hospital was around the corner. So it got busy on Thursdays when the mental hospital let their patients out and stuff. Different days were different.
You get different crews on different days, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And at that time, obviously, you're starting to think about doing your own thing.
I found a tattooist that I really liked his work of, and I left there and worked with him.
Yep.
And then working with him for a couple of years really made me start to think if I wanted to do my own thing. Only because he didn't accept. I put a book of all my paintings in the shop, and he didn't want it there. And I was like, well, isn't tattoo an art form?
Yeah.
And he didn't. He just wanted it to be a tattoo shop and not have art. And that's what made me think, well, like I don't like being told what to do. So
Just playing out.
I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yep.
So I had a knee reconstruction because I was playing gridiron at the time. And so he fired me because I couldn't work for a couple of weeks. And so in the meantime, I started setting up my own shop that way and I was working with a friend down on the Gold Coast and
Yep.
found a gallery. The shop I turned into a gallery and I had that for 3.5 years and they're set to demolish it. So that's when I moved the gallery. Now I'm just a private studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you had your own space.
Yes, I had my own little art gallery and I tattooed at the back so no one knew that it was a tattoo shop. So I'd have like all the little old ladies come in and show you their kids' photos and they just thought I had all the time in the world to kill. Meanwhile, I had like someone out the back with the half back piece and
Wow.
yeah.
How do you do, like, because usually creative side and business side are very hard to find.
Yeah.
How did you find that at the start, trying to turn your creative side into making a business? Because that can be difficult.
Know. Well, I failed economics at school, business studies.
Couldn't draw it.
No, I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't draw it. I didn't understand the graphs. But yeah, I've just got screwed over so many times running a business.
Yep.
You learnt from your mistakes.
Yep, fair enough.
So it kind of made me harden up and be a little bit tighter and a bit firmer. And because I signed the lease for my shop when I was 24, and I couldn't afford a lawyer then to go over the lease.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of went over it a bit myself and I kept asking the real estate agent what those words meant. And
There's just no support.
yeah, it was hard, but yeah, I got there in the end. I think that's the best way to learn, though, getting screwed over. You learn quicker.
Yeah, you do. Learn from mistakes, hey?
Yeah. No one screws me over now, which is good.
No, you got it down pat.
Yes.
So how many years were you in the shop?
About 3.5 years.
Yep. Was that a good experience?
Yeah, it was good. Had a little shop window, used to decorate it, and
Yep.
like the whole street was a cool little community. Like all the business owners were friends, and it was good. But none of them are there now because it's up in Camp Hill. So yeah, that sucked. I'm still I still talk to them all and catch up with them.
Having a shop in a space like that, I guess, for 3 years, it sort of becomes a big part of your life too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a second home.
You spend so much time there and that.
Yeah. Although now that I'm just working in my private studio, I find I don't have to get dressed as well for work.
Yeah. Working from home can be a really good thing, eh?
It's so good.
So I initially met you obviously through, you've just been doing a piece for, is it the Brisbane Portrait Prize?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about that.
Okay, excellent.
What is that piece?
So that piece is of a very awesome dude called Toby Price.
Yep. Dakar champion, obviously off-road racer.
Champion of everything he touches.
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah.
So how long, and I'll once you get your photos done, I'll put this on the video as well.
Yeah, cool.
How long has that piece taken?
Roughly 530 hours. So
That's incredible.
Thanks to COVID, I finished it in time because I wasn't tattooing, so it was perfect timing for it.
Oh, I guess, yeah, the tattoo studio, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, if it wasn't for that, I'd still be probably drawing it.
Wow. So 530 hours, does that include sitting with Toby, the original?
No. That was a couple of hours because I made him rearrange his whole shed. And
So the piece, and as we say, we'll have the photos up on the video.
yeah.
The piece, is that exactly how the shed was set up at the time?
No, I feel really bad. I felt so bossy because I was really disappointed that his trophy truck was in America. I rocked up and I was like, where's your trophy truck? And he's like, in America. And I was like, damn it.
I think he's pretty disappointed. It's over there too.
Yeah, I bet. So, he pretty much let me tell him where I wanted everything. So I moved all his cars around. And
Yep.
I was really worried because I saw, I think it was like a documentary and he was in it about Fink Desert Race.
Yep.
And there's a clip of him vacuuming his house. And initially I thought, oh man, this guy's a clean freak. Like this shed's going to be immaculate. And I rock up there and I was like, I don't know, but can we move stuff and make it look a bit messy? And he's like, I don't even think we need to make it look messy. It's just pretty messy. And I was like, So, yeah, we'd moved things around and we just moved tools around. And
Yep.
and I couldn't really help too much because every time I did, that company wasn't sponsoring him anymore. So we couldn't have that in the photo. So I just watched him do it.
Yeah, right. I guess, yeah, that plays a part in it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So,
what you can show, what you can't show and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I hope he doesn't lose any sponsors of the drawing that I've done because then it will be invalid, won't it?
Nah, that's so far from what I've seen. It's incredible, hey?
Awesome.
Is that one of your favourite pieces you've done?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
It's
do you
the
have
funnest.
favourites? This is the funnest, okay.
Yeah, and I do have favourites. But it's been, I don't know, the most different because I've drawn, I do a series of cows and stuff and it's fun doing cows and they have meanings behind them, but the piece I've done of Toby's got everything in it and we've got his trophies in it and
All the elements.
his bike from Dakar and
Yeah.
the oil leak because I made him put it on the ground sideways and
No. Really?
Yeah.
So that's in the actual drawing?
yeah, and he's put a rag there because I was like, oh, it's going to stain the cement.
I know. I can't wait to see the full one.
Yeah,
So,
you have
will that
to
go and
be-
display somewhere like a studio here, like in Brisbane, or what will happen with that?
Well, I'm hoping it'll just sell straight up. So
Oh, okay, so, yep.
yeah, and then that person can display it forever
Yep.
in wherever they'd like to.
I'm sure it'll go because, once people do see it, if they haven't seen it already, it is incredible.
Yeah,
So-
I was tossing up too whether to do prints or not, but I think I'll just keep it exclusive and just have the original.
Yeah.
Toby might get a print if he's lucky. He might have to take me for a drive in one of his buggies first, though.
Yeah. All of the trophy truck when it does.
Yes, I could just be his navvy the next Baja.
Because you do that, don't you?
Yes, it's the only time I'm allowed to tell my partner how to drive and where to go without him getting angry.
So, it's a Can-Am?
Yeah, it's a Can-Am X3.
So
Yeah.
so as soon as you're out of the Can-Am and back into the normal car, no deal.
Yeah.
No more no more backseat driving.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the other, like, the reason mostly why he drives is because he sucks at navy. Like, we were in Baja and he navigated me into a gully off a little cliff and we were stuck upright in the middle of the Mexican desert.
That's so bad.
I know.
That's
and
really not where you want to be.
And then a little Polaris pulled us out. That was even more intimidating. Like, oh, come on, the Polaris.
Wow. Tell me about Baja.
Yeah, so we went there in November just to
Last year?
Last year.
What, for a pre-run or
We just did a bit of a pre-run
Yep.
with the guys at Off-Road Rush down in Yatala.
Yeah,
They
yep.
organised it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the best trip. We want to go back every year, but we're going to aim for next year now.
Mm.
But eventually we want to be in it. We want to be racing.
Was it scary?
Oh, no, not at all. We had an American guide and he like hyped everything up. Like I thought we were going to flip cars and roll over and it was going to cost us like thousands of American dollars to fix. And then
Yep.
you'd go over this little bump that he says is like really bad. And it was like, oh, was that it? Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, because obviously it was before the track got torn up through a trophy truck. So it wasn't that bad. But, and I'm pretty sure they took us on pretty moderate tracks.
Yep.
Like because we watched the race when it was on and within 5 cars in, it's a different track.
So where does that go? Is it Ensenadas?
Yeah, it's a different track every year. So
Right.
you don't know until, I don't think they publish it officially until like 6 months out or something.
Yep. Wow. So that was definitely a goal maybe for this year before all this sort of stuff happened. Maybe?
Yeah, we were meant to do Fink this year. That was going to be our first Fink race. And that got canned. So next year we'll have to do Fink and Baja.
That's a good year.
Yeah, I reckon.
So what's that, June and November?
Yeah.
I think, isn't
Play
it?
catch up.
Yep. Wow.
Sorry guys, no tattoos in those months.
Yep, it's done. It's all over.
Yeah.
What was the experience like in Mexico? Take away the driving part, navigating part.
Oh,
was it a
lived
great
there.
experience?
Yeah. Tacos every day.
Oh, how good!
I
was that?
had them last night for dinner. So good.
Really?
Yeah, favourite food.
Very hard to replicate in Australia, though.
Yeah, it is. Everything over there is so fresh. And the people are so nice.
Yep.
Yeah, any day. I was actually looking at property listings in Baja. I just want to patch of dirt in the desert over there. Just
What's
get
property like over there? Like they?
Oh, I think around all the touristy areas close to the American border, it's expensive. But I think if you just found like a 5-acre dirt patch in the middle of the desert,
Yep.
I reckon it'd be cheap as chips.
Yep.
Just need to find it.
Just need to find some. If hypothetically, if you did it, would
Yeah.
you go over there and try and do something similar to what you've done here?
Probably not. I think my only clients in Mexico would probably be the cartel for tattoos.
Don't want to get tied up with them.
Not really. Probably not.
So, and when I mention that, let's talk about your space that you've created.
Yep.
Was that a dream? Or was that just something that just gradually grew into that space?
It was a little bit of a nightmare because we had so much problems with council and certification. And originally, because my partner's a boilermaker, so he was building it out of a shipping container.
Yep.
And then we've got a friend who's an architect and another friend who's an engineer. So they planned the whole thing for me.
Yep.
We just have the best friends. And then council would just paperwork after paperwork, things that I didn't even know existed. Like someone wanted $5,000 to look for koala poo because we're out in the bush. And like the building certifiers were asking
$5,000 for what?
to look for koala poo.
To see if there's koalas in the property or something.
Yeah, because part of our property is a biodiversity area.
$5,000.
I know. Crazy. And it was just random stuff. Like we had to pay extra money because there's so many windows in the place. It wasn't energy efficient, but it was going to be solar powered. So it was too hard. So we canned it and we just got a shed company to build it and they dealt with council and council didn't look twice at their paperwork. So then I created the space from there and we made it bigger and better and made it 2-story so I can do all my cutting and because I cut rocks and make things silversmith and do that stuff. So that's all my upstairs area and then downstairs I've got my tattooing and I keep all my artwork and
Yep.
yeah, it's just like the ultimate space.
It really is. Like from the photos and the video and that I've seen, it's the best creative space. Like second to none, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, if I could have more windows in there, I would have, but it wouldn't have structurally held up. That's what the shed company told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I think we paid like 14 grand for glass.
Jeez, you've got some windows in there.
Yeah, lots of windows.
If you're going to do the shipping container, would that have been just a single story, or would you have gone as high as like a double, or what was the plan?
No, it was just going to be for tattooing. So we got like recycled doors from the demo yard, and we're going to have a deck that overlooked the dam, which kind of, it all worked. It was like a blessing in disguise, because then we had that bad drought last year and the dam got empty. Yep. So everyone would have just been looking into a muddy hole in the ground.
It's a bit less desirable.
Yeah.
Because what it's turned into is very special, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And like I've tried to use as many recycled elements as possible and rustic look. And yeah, it kind of sucked though, because it was like we were doing it in the middle of summer. It was like 42-degree days, and then inside the shed it was even hotter. So we've both agreed that we never want to like renovate a house or do anything ever again.
This is it.
Pay someone else to do it, yeah.
Yep. So is the shed in its form now? Like this is it? Like there's no...
Well, there's one wall that we want to extend and like extend the mezzanine out and build racks so I can store my artwork on. But I've been putting that off because race cars come first.
Such a good outlook.
Yes. We need to get the shocks done on the car first, and we need to spend those weekends racing. The studio can wait.
So were you always into, like your partner obviously, he must have been into the racing in some form? Or were you always into it, or how'd that come about?
Oh, I've always had monster trucks as kids, like have like thousands of monster truck remote control cars, but I didn't think you could ever like own one in Australia that does cool things. So, but it was funny because we were actually here looking for a Harley.
Yeah.
And he was umming up whether he should get a Harley or not, and I told him that he couldn't get one unless it was a 2-seater. And he didn't really want a 2-seater. So then he started looking into the buggies, and he started building one because he can. But then he worked so much, it never happened. And he bought me a ride at Off-Road Rush in their buggy, and it was just the best fun ever, driving around this manual like buggy around their dirt track.
How long ago was this?
I reckon it was probably a good maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then in return, I bought him one back because I was like, that was so much fun, he has to go.
Yep.
And then they were talking to us about the Baja trip, and then in the meantime, he just went to Can-Am and just bought the buggy because he's like, I'm sick of building it, I'll just buy it. Bought it. I think he used it twice and he wrote it off, end-to-ended it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I was so angry.
Where at? Like at a race meeting, or just...
It was at a park, and I don't think they accept UTVs anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I was tattooing, and I get this phone call, and he's like, I think I wrote off the buggy because we were meant to go out the next day. And I was so pissed off. I was so angry at him. And he was more upset that I didn't care that he was injured or not. I didn't ask him. And I was more upset that I didn't get a go.
Wow.
So it took him a couple of years to rebuild because it was flat pancake. Like
proper write-off. And this thing wouldn't have been that old, obviously, at the time?
No, I think it only had like 5 hours on it or something. It was like nothing.
Yeah.
So it took him a long while to get it all back together and all the engine in place, and now we're just fine-tuning. So we've just been going through a couple of belts and stuff, and we've just put more air filters in to get...
Yep.
So we're off to Don River. That race is start of September.
Where's Don River?
Up near Bowen and Ellie Beach, kind of between there.
Isn't the good thing about racing, doesn't matter what it is, but you get to see so many good places.
Oh, yeah. It's the best. Like, even if it's out west in the middle of nowhere, it's just amazing.
Yeah, so much. Where was the one that you did, was it 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was Inglewood Cup. That was really fun.
That's out near Millmerran, isn't it? Out, do you know? Past Toowoomba.
Yeah, that's way,
Yeah.
way past. It's like 3.5 hours west.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were out there. It's kind of between Texas and Inglewood, the race actually was.
Yep.
And, it was so sandy. Like it was, by the end of it was just hitting sand pits of bull dust, and it was just waves of it coming in. You couldn't see, and you just knew that you had to keep driving straight and wipe the dirt off your face mask and keep going. It was just awesome fun.
Oh, that sounds like just such a good experience.
And we didn't roll it, so that was awesome.
Have you been in one that's rolled now?
Yeah, we rolled in Dolby a couple of weeks ago, and we got it on the GoPro. It was like, it was like I had the arms up like, Mamma Mia, what are you doing? Like, and then we did no damage. It was such a slow roll, but it's just the inconvenience that we missed out on that time and that lap, and we had to wait till we got flipped over. And
Yep. They're pretty safe, aren't they?
Yeah, you're strapped in hardcore.
Yep.
Yeah, and everyone makes sure you're okay, and the events are run really well. So
For sure.
yeah.
Have you been out to Finke at all?
No.
As a spectator? No?
No, not yet. Because why spectate when you can be in it, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like if you're going to go, just
be in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like watching that Toby documentary, and that looks like just such an event.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even just the experience of camping there. Like even if you don't get to race, I think it'd just be awesome camping with everyone.
A couple of my friends and myself were talking about it on the weekend, about trying to do a trip out next year maybe for it.
Yeah. So you have to lock it in.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to do it, but not to race it. So, because to have to race it on two wheels, and I'm just not that good. So,
well, you just do it on 4 then.
Yeah, navigate somewhere maybe.
Navigate for Toby.
Oh, no way. Not a chance. Not a chance I'm getting in there. So it'd be a bucket list, but oh, geez.
Hand your resume in.
So fast. He is so fast. But yeah. So you love that sport? Like it's something that you both just enjoy doing?
Oh, yeah. Like I'd sell a house tomorrow and just buy a trophy truck. If we camped out of a trophy truck and got to do races every weekend, it wouldn't mind me.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So back to art. You do design as well. Like design, obviously some jewellery manufacturing.
Yeah, well,
like that. So,
I go fosking and I find my own gems.
Yep.
And then I make jewellery out of it. And I used to sell a lot of it when I had the art gallery.
Mm-hmm.
But then now that I have my studio, it's too hard to put everything online.
Yep.
Because I had a clothing line too, and that was in the gallery. But like, where do you stop?
Yeah, it's you sort of start to just spread your business to sort of everything, don't you?
Yeah. So now I've just narrowed it back down. Like I still make my jewelry for fun.
Yep.
But I've just narrowed it down to tattooing and drawing and kept it there. And when I can, I do like silversmithing and have a cabochon machine and cut my rocks and.
Yep. So is the silversmith is the jewellery manufacturing, is it?
Yeah, so it's just like a little torch with a gas bottle and some silver solder, and you have like your hot pot where you quench things. And
how'd you learn that?
A friend of mine, Dan, he's actually in Victoria at the moment. Sucks to be him. He had his shop down the road from mine.
Yep.
And so it was awesome. I'd just shut my shop early on a Wednesday or whatever and go down and use his kiln. And
this is the Camp Hill shop?
Yeah.
Right.
So he was just down in Cooperoo and he... Because I don't like doing group things. Like he had group classes and I'm a bit of a time hog. Like I just want to... And I'm impatient. Like I want to know everything now.
Mm.
So I used to just hire his space and his time and make him tell me what I wanted to know.
And he was good like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even let me take the dog in there and...
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So I skipped all the beginner's stuff and just, I want to make this, and he just showed me how to make that.
Yeah, right. And now, is he doing the same job in Melbourne up until now?
Yeah, well, they demolished his building too, roughly the same time as mine. So he packed his business up and converted it into a mobile van business, and he goes around teaching classes that way.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, he was travelling around Australia before he had to sit still.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the freedoms of that to now, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So you talked about the dog. Now, you're an absolute animal lover, hey?
Yes.
You always been massive animal lover?
Yes, they're like the best.
Yeah, better than humans.
So good.
But so that obviously plays a big part in some of your creative pursuits too, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. If like I do a lot of stuff for animal charities, and I try and do artwork that can help them and raise money for them, because I like doing things that can benefit other people. Like it makes the artwork more meaningful.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been doing a few things for different sanctuaries, and profits from their sales go back to the sanctuary.
So that's obviously a big part that you love to be part of, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I see in a lot of your photos and stuff, you got like obviously Sea Shepherd stuff. You obviously support that as well in some.
Yes, Sea Shepherd's awesome. I actually contacted the founder of Sea Shepherd when we were over in America, and I asked him if I could draw him, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, we're in LA on this time, and he's like, oh, I'm on the other side of America.
Oh, no.
And I was like, damn it. So that's on the cards eventually, because he has travel restrictions. Like, he's been banned from everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his name? Here we go.
You just put me in a mind blank. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Next question.
We'll come back to that. We've got an assistant in here. But
I'm going to like kick myself after this. Like, oh, could you put his name?
At what sort of obviously you did it in school and everything, like for the art side of it. At what age did you find it was something where you think that this could be just for life? You could be an artist.
After I decided that taking blood out of people and being a clown probably wasn't a good profession. Maybe
I watched the Joker last week and I found that out too.
Oh, yeah, that's an easy way to figure that out. I don't know, maybe... Oh, geez, that's primary school?
Really, that early?
Yeah, because I always used to get like the bubble gums with the tattoos in them. I used to buy them all the time, and my mum always used to be like, oh, but you're never getting a real one. I'm like, yeah, never, Mum.
When did you get your actual first?
I waited till I was 18.
Oh, you did?
My mum had moved to Queensland and my dad was overseas for work, and my cousin picked me up and he's like, oi, let's get tattoos. And I was like, yeah, let's go get tats.
So you did wait till 18 though?
Yeah, and then I got it like, I got an ice cream skull behind my ear because it had stretchers, and I was like, oh, I want to see it through my stretcher. I'll be gangster. And then I thought I could hide it with my hair for like the rest of my life. And then we had an Italian wedding like a week after I got it, and my mum had flown down from Queensland and went straight up to my cousin and slapped him across the face.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, it's one of those things that can at that age, it's a yes, no.
Oh, yeah, my family's
topic.
so conservative. Like, I think they're used to it now. I think it's to the point now I have so many tattoos that they don't know if it's new or not.
Yep.
So they stopped asking.
It's all just part of.
Yeah, I used to wear pants and long sleeve shirts every Christmas so my dad wouldn't see them. It's probably for like 2.5 years. And it got to the point where I was like, look, it's getting too hot. Dad, I've got tattoos.
Yep.
He's like, you got to hide them from your grandma. And I was like, nah, everyone's going to, I'm just over it.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was fine. He's like, oh, they're actually really cool.
And have you done many of your own to yourself or?
Oh, self-inflicting pain is so hard.
Is it?
Yeah, I've tried. It doesn't get me far.
Yeah. Archibald Prize. Dane and Bessie?
Dane and Bessie.
How did that come about?
I think dogs are awesome, and especially when they can work to benefit people's lives. So I contacted the army base at Nogra, and they hooked me up with Dane and Bessie, and I spent a day there with him watching how they train the dogs and hang out with them, and it was so much fun. Those dogs are so cool. They're so friendly. They're all rescues.
I couldn't believe that. I watched the video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe that rescue dogs or come from police training.
Yeah.
And then
they're all
they
the
go
rejects.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. They just have to, the only requirement is to be interested in a ball.
Is that it?
And then you pass. Yeah.
So then they can be educated from there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And was that a good experience to be able to obviously be out with the Defence Force and see what they go through?
So many clearances to get in.
Like for yourself?
Yeah, and you have to sit and watch a boring movie. Colleen used to work there. She used to be
At Enoggera?
in aviating. Yeah, so once you're in, you're fine. But like they're like, don't photograph this. You can't go over here. Don't look at that. Don't say this word. Okay.
Wow. So there's a fair bit to it.
Yeah. So actually, I still speak to Dane. He's pretty cool. He actually contacted me for a tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, you can get his that image for free on my website.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. It's beautiful, hey?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It really is. It's a lovely image, that one. So how did that go? And like, what happens with the Archibald Prize? How did that go?
So you got to ship it to Sydney, and then
the original?
Yes.
Yep.
So and then a group of panelists that I don't think many of them have anything to do with art. They're just the trustees of the gallery decide whether they like it or not. It's very controversial because a lot of people that win it are like people that are known or like, I don't know, it's a little bit...
Is it more like a socialite thing more so than someone that's
experienced? I think it's who you know than what you know. And it's predominantly a painting prize. So the way I do my artwork, I watercolour it first and then I go over the top with pencil.
Yep.
So I think because I use predominantly pencil, I think they like to stick the more traditional oils and acrylics.
Yep.
And so I entered another year, Mabel, she's 110 years old. I think she's 111 in September. So I entered her as well in it, and I added more paint in that one than drawing. But it's just so expensive to ship your artwork down there, enter it, for them to just ship it back and be like,
So they don't really give feedback or...
No, not at all. But
it's so strange.
You kind of know who's going to win. It's like everyone has turns because like you'll see the finalists every year are similar names and then eventually one of them wins.
It's just they got to bite their time.
Yeah. Yep. So I've kind of... Originally I was like, yeah, I'm going to win that one day. And now I'm like, nah, I'm going to win better things. There's better prizes.
Yep.
So I'll still enter it here and there if I want to, if I feel like I need to. But it's really good because the Brisbane Portrait Prize was created because of that. And because it's such a traditional prize, the Brisbane Portrait Prize started last year, was the first year. And they've opened it up to digital photography, like any medium. And it's anyone that's got anything to do with Brisbane or... like you don't even have to be famous to like you could just draw Joe Blow and enter him, and as long as he lives in Brisbane or has something to do with Brisbane, then it's all good. So I think that's why Toby was perfect for it.
For sure. So that's only in its second year this year.
Yeah. So entries close 16th of August. So I have to get Toby's entry in this week.
How big is that?
Big. It's like...
That's a good scale.
It's 2 meters by 1,200 high.
Damn, huge. So you got to obviously organise a courier or take it there yourself. Is it the same sort of idea as Sydney?
Just fits in the ute.
Does it?
Yeah. Yep. So like you have to get it to the Portrait Prize if you become a finalist, but it's a bit easier because it's at the Powerhouse.
Yeah, a lot better than Sydney.
Yeah.
So the Sydney one's, the Archibald Prize is done by the New South Wales Art Gallery.
Yes.
Well, they
and it's run by the trustees of the
Art Gallery.
Archibald, yeah.
Yep, or Archibald, sorry. So with the Toby one, what's the process of that? You go there and do you like sketch it out on something that's like A4 or A3 or something? Or do you just take 2 meters by 1.2 meters there with you and
Well, it was really hard because this year, because of social distancing, like I couldn't. So I just had to completely rely on what was in my head for ideas and then make sure that the photo I took wasn't crap.
Right. So you take a photo.
Yes, I referenced off a photo.
Yep.
And this year was the only year that it didn't require a personal sit because of the COVID, which worked out handy. But I'm pretty sure that if COVID didn't come in, I don't think Toby would have been in one place for long enough for me to see him, because he
probably
just
not.
travels too much.
Yeah, his schedule is huge, like throughout the year. So, but however, like same deal, like we said before the show.
Yeah.
Just the time that he gives people, like, he's just so easy with time. Like, it's incredible for considering, you know, he's Toby Price, a really nice human.
Yeah.
But he's still like one of the best sportsmen that Australia's had in a long time.
So down to earth.
Down to earth, yeah. And yeah, just so good with his time. So
yes, very generous.
yeah. No, it's nice to see your side of it, and especially what you were saying before it's before the show. It's really nice to hear, eh? So
yes.
Now, what do you think of the art industry?
I usually hate going to exhibitions. Like, if I've made finalists for something, I usually drag my mum along, and I'll get in there, and just the atmosphere, they're just a certain way. Like, I'd like to use the word snobby, but I don't.
You can.
I feel like I don't fit in very well, and I always try and hide my tattoos, and like, especially I have to have 2 different social media accounts, because people that follow my tattoos aren't necessarily interested in the art, but the people that follow the art hate tattoos. So if I was to put, like, because I have one joint email, and sometimes I put it up tattoo updates, I always get these emails back from like old ladies that follow me and saying, "Ooh, tattoos, gross," and I feel like I can't please everyone.
Yeah.
So when I go to like exhibitions and I'm around all these people that are that certain way, and they're all a bit snotty, and I just have to get out of there. My mum usually grabs as much champagne as she has, and we're out. Like, we're at Guzman and Gomez eating tacos and
get the backpack empty.
Yeah. So now sometimes I try not to go unless I've figured out some prizes they call you before you win something to make sure you're there.
Yep.
So I sometimes wait for a phone call.
So you were never an art gallery person?
No, not at all. That's why I went straight into tattooing, because I just didn't want to be in that way. And when I had my own art gallery, I thought, well, I can do exhibitions the way I want to do them.
What was that exhibition that you had in? There's the same deal as a video of in 2016 or 17.
Yeah.
Is it a big house with hot rods and stuff? What was that?
So it was all my tattoo clients. I like dressed them up in all the clothes that I'd made and all the jewelry that I've made.
Oh, so that was all your own?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we went to this lady's house on the north side. One of my clients just knocked on her door and said, "Hey, can we use your house?" And she's like, "Okay." So I started painting for her, and she let us use her house all day, and we took photos of their tattoos and with the hot rods, and they're all my clients' hot rods, so that was fun.
Wow.
And then that was an exhibition of like just the photography with them and their photos, and we turned it into calendars and stuff. That was so much fun. I keep thinking I should do that again soon, but nodding. But I don't do the same thing twice.
Yep.
So it'd have to be like on a yacht or something better. Like, so if you know anyone with a yacht, you can borrow for half a day.
Something to do with trophy trucks.
Oh, yes. Jumping over things and motorbikes, doing flips, and that would be good.
You've just created a whole new festival.
I know.
Yeah. Tattoo Freestyle Motocross Festival.
Yes.
So, yeah, because I watched a little bit of that video as well. I'm like, wow.
That's awesome. You've been great stalking. This is...
Yeah, well, you've got to know who you're talking to.
Yeah, this is
as well.
Fantastic.
Especially, I guess, for my side of it, sort of, and you're not really into the art world either, by the sounds that you blaze your own path.
Yeah.
So for me, I like to know what it is you do a little bit more before I obviously talk to you as well. So
yeah.
Who influences you in what you currently do?
Me.
Yeah. Just you?
Yeah.
Wow.
What I feel like doing?
Yep.
I only like drawing things that I've photographed myself or met myself, or and I only do things that inspire me. So if I was to meet someone, say if I did meet Toby and he was a bit of an asshole, I probably wouldn't have painted him.
Yep.
No matter who he was, it just wouldn't sitting with that picture for like 500 hours wouldn't have been as enjoyable. So I really have to relate with the subject.
Because there's nothing worse than meeting someone that you've got to do work with that you just can't stand.
Yeah, and I like, especially with tattooing, I'm pretty picky with clients. Like if I gel with them, I know straight away if I gel with them or not.
Yep.
Or if their ideas are good or not. I've managed to filter out that over the years. So now I just get awesome clients all the time. I'm pretty lucky that way.
That's good.
So like I feel like if like I'm not money driven in that way, like if someone that didn't interest me offered me a heap of money to do a drawing of them, I don't know if I'd agree or not.
Yep. Doesn't mean anything to you at that point.
Happiness is everything.
For sure, 100%. With your studio, what's pre-COVID? What's a week look like for you?
Oh man, pre-COVID, that was like April, start of the year. So what was I doing then? It feels so long ago. I would have been working 5 days a week. From 8 a.m. till whenever I finish.
Yep.
And then I would draw on a Sunday, Monday. And then COVID kind of changed everything for me. Like it just, I'm like, I'm going to draw more now. So now I'm only booking, say, 4 days max, but I'm trying to just do like 2 or 3 a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm booked out now until October. And I'm not taking bookings until I find out racing dates for the end of the year.
It all comes back to racing.
It all comes back to racing. So yeah, now I'm just concentrating on getting some solid drawing time in more than tattooing.
Yep. And is that drawings just for yourself or drawings to further sell or?
Oh, either way.
Yep.
I've learnt that I can survive on like such a minimal, well, as long as I can cover mortgage.
Yep.
I'm sweet. Like.
Yep.
So just work. If I sell things, and it's a bonus.
Yep. Do you do your own printing?
No, I have an awesome guy called Richard, RW Promotion. He's down on the Goldie, and he's been helping me out since day dot. Like, since I started tattooing, he'd print my tattoo posters. He'd have mini exhibitions for me. He's a legend. So he does all my printing. He's actually printing our design for our Can-Am panels at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that just print everything. He printed our OK and, the OK sign and the SOS sign.
Mm.
Yeah, we left it on the track one day and I was like, damn it. So he printed us like 3 spares.
Oh, really? Yeah. So he does everything?
He does everything.
So you're going to wrap the Can-Am?
Yes.
Yep. And is he doing the wrap as well? Or
he's doing the wrap.
The whole lot? Yeah.
Yeah. So we need sponsors. If anyone wants to sponsor us, we can stick some more stickers on.
How do you go for sponsorship in that world?
I don't know. I guess because we're pretty new to it, but we'll take whatever we can get. Like, we got one sponsor at the moment, and we only got him like last week. And he's called Raffinet Media, so he's going to go through our GoPro footage, and he's bringing drones out, and he'll do all that stuff for us when he can. Yeah.
He does. I think he does some of the 4-wheel drive stuff. Hey.
Yeah. He's
some
into
of
all that.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So he'll come to the events and that as well?
He's going to try to, because his partner does weddings, so he has to help her out, and their weekends.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So
try and balance it out.
Yeah.
With your shop now that you've got, which is obviously everything, your house, so I guess everything, heaven. You must be pretty proud of that.
Oh, yeah. Like I do guest spots in Canberra sometimes, because I still have family down there.
Right.
And I work in a shop down there, and I sometimes dread it because I'm just in a normal tattoo shop again.
Yep.
No windows, and I come home and I just like hug my studio. It's like, don't leave me. Like this morning I was sitting in there and the kangaroos just jumped right past, and he's like, all the animals are like, we've got a pig and she walks past and the dogs are there. And
what's your pig's name?
Crackles.
Isn't it? When did you get the pig?
She's 4.
Yeah.
So
is that a key part to happiness for yourself, is to have all the animals around?
Yeah, I don't know how people could live without them.
Mm.
They're just the coolest.
So you got German Shepherd?
Got German Shepherd, got the Bitzer.
Yep.
I've got one-eyed Gla, Blinky, and Crackles the pig.
Yeah, right. Yep.
And if I was home more, I would probably have geese and cows and everything.
With one of your drawings, you actually all your drawings have got like a meaning or there's a story behind everything.
Yeah.
With the cows one, what are they local? Were they local cows or because there was the bull that had been in the drought and they tried to breed with? Is that right?
Oh, that's Claire. Yeah, she's American. So that was that's the only cow that I've never met. So I collaborated with a photographer, Daniel Turbot, and he just hit me up one day because he's a bit of an animal rights activist over in America, and he does human rights as well. And he said, hey, like, I do a lot of this stuff. Do you want to collaborate? And I said, yeah, I really want to do like a white cow. And he sent me photos of Claire from Critter Creek Sanctuary, and she was cool. And it turns out that because I sent the prints of her to the sanctuary, and it turns out it was perfect timing because they had a big fundraiser on, and
wow.
They raised some funds for her through that. And I'd like to go there one day and meet her.
What state that in? Do you know?
Florida?
That's Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I did read that, I think, as well. The is your art, like, is it called pencil art? Would that be a good term for it or not?
I don't know. I guess so.
I'll call it pencil art.
Okay,
then.
let's call it pencil art.
Let's call it pencil art. Where do you see that going in the future?
Everywhere. I think Red Bull should sponsor me, really. And then I can, like, draw all of their sponsored athletes and travel with them. Just saying.
Race the Red Bull trophy truck.
Yeah. If they need a navvy, I can step in.
Yeah.
If they needed a spare driver, I'm sure I can figure it out.
But is that pencil art something that's a bit like same deal? I don't know a lot about art, but I'm sort of seeing it a little bit more in usage nowadays. Would that be accurate, do you think?
I think it's more accepted now because most of the time, like back in the day, it was if it wasn't oils then it was worthless.
Right.
And I think times have changed and people are accepting that all art's art.
Yep.
Except I still don't understand digital art. I think people are pretty talented to draw on the computer, but because I don't understand computers, I don't understand how talented they are. So it's a hard concept for me to grasp.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I'm a photographer, but I look at your art compared to something that I take. It feels like it's manufactured over something that's created.
Yeah, it still takes talent to take a photo, though.
It does.
A good photo, anyway.
It does, but yeah, it's just an interesting line. Like I just look at what you're doing, I'm like, wow, like I can never ever even just think about doing it, you know?
Yeah.
As I say, drawing that 3D box in grade 10 at graphic design, that's probably where I'm still at that level now. So yeah, it's just interesting. As I say, the photo stuff is really cool, and there's a spot in a gallery for it.
Yeah.
But seeing what people can paint and actually draw is a total different field altogether.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. Like if you asked me right now to draw, if you pick something out of your head and made me draw something, it'd probably look. Yeah, mine would look like a square. I don't know if yours would, but.
Just a bit of scribble. It looked like the pen didn't work.
But it'd still, like, my drawing would still look like, I'd still have to sit down and put time into it. If I just did something quick, it'd just look like anyone's scribble.
For sure. I can understand that. What about, where do you see your art going in the future? Do you see yourself selling different works around the world further, travelling the world doing tattoo work and pencil work? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yep. I mean, well, I've just sent a letter to the Queen. So hopefully she gets back to me. And I sent one to David Attenborough. I'd really love to paint him.
Wow.
Ideally both in the same painting. If they could get together for me, that'd be fantastic.
Just a bit of a Queen and Attenborough collab.
Yeah, because I just really like what they do with, like, tree conservation and the environment. And
Interesting to see what you do get back.
I know. Well, if I'd finished Toby's picture before them, I would have sent them that. But I just sent them some artwork and I was like, hey, pick me.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, I'll let you know when you can come over with me and
I'll film the Queen. We'll do a podcast with the Queen. But the things that David Attenborough has done, though, like the Queen is a different story.
Yeah.
She's sort of like the the Beatles. She's like, people say it's like the best music, but you don't think it's always the best music, but it's more like oxygen.
Yeah.
There's always there. The Queen has just always been there.
Yeah.
Especially, what is it? She's 88 years old or 90
No,
years old.
I think she's like 93 or something.
Here we go. We have to get the executive assistant out. But what have you learned so far through art?
I've learnt not to paint things that you think people want, and just to do things that I want to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. So you get more self gratification by doing something you really want to do.
Yeah, because amount of times I've drawn things that people are like, you should draw this, you're going to sell heaps of them. And I'll do it, and I don't sell any.
Yep.
And then I'm like, why'd they list? So that's why the cows started, because I was like, I want cows in the house.
Yep.
I'm going to paint these cows, raise money for animal sanctuaries, and have cool artwork in my house. And then I've sold a heap of them. So
That's awesome.
yeah, one just went to Tennessee, a bison. So there's a bison place down in New South Wales, and I got a photo of this bison. He was so cool. They're my new favourite cattle.
Yep. So there's bison in New South Wales.
Yeah, it's a bison farm. They eat them. It's kind of weird patting it, knowing it's going to get turned into a burger at some point. I find that weird. Feeding a carrot. They're like, hey, come feed carrots to the bison, and then come have a bison burger.
So
it's just
there's
odd.
the front entry to the store is patting it, and then the back entry is the restaurant.
Tasting it, yeah.
Wow.
So I struggled with that part of it, but the animal was so amazing, so I had to draw it. And
They're huge, eh?
oh, so like the stats on them, like they kill more people every year in America than like hippos or
Bison.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
They can get up to 40 k's an hour in like 3 seconds.
Wow. You couldn't outrun them in the Can-Am,
I know, and they don't get cancer.
don't they?
No,
Very
them and
durable.
sharks.
Them and what, sorry?
Sharks.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I wonder why that is. Must be something in their DNA.
Yeah, don't know.
So you're talking before the show started.
Yeah.
So you're quite the athlete too. So you've done gridiron. Was it water
I
polo?
can't sit still, you mean?
Yeah, gridiron and water polo.
Yeah.
2 unique sports. What got you into those?
I used to swim.
Yep.
And that was boring. So actually a friend of mine, she's like, hey, come do water polo training with me one day.
Yeah.
And I did, and I was like, this is so much fun. You chase a ball. So much better than swimming laps. So like 3 weeks later, I was on the under 14 state team, and we were travelling to Perth.
Seriously, that's a long way from Canberra.
Yeah, because I was the only one on the team that could swim. So like everyone else was half drowning, and so I nailed it straight away.
Yep.
Just nail everything I do.
Just talented.
Yeah. Nah, I don't stick with it if I don't, right?
It's a good way to be.
But yeah, so I stuck with that, and by 16 I was in the Australian team.
Yeah.
And went to Canada and played for Australia. And then it was coming up to Olympic time, and it was I was lucky because when I lived in Canberra, I was training at the AIS with the Olympic squad, and I was on the brink of finishing school, and I'd just come back from Australian tour from New Zealand, I think we went to, and it made me think whether I wanted to stick with water polo and not have a career and live like a bum to then do the Olympics in 4 years' time and then maybe finish and then what? Or just get straight into tattooing. And after I played with the last Australian team, I found it was too competitive. The girls weren't as friendly, and it was not fun. Like, it was so stressful, and everyone was playing for themselves. It turned into not like a team sport. It was just
disappointing.
Like, yeah, so it was easy to quit. So I still play locally on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
I play for a men's team and a girls' team, which is fun. But then, yeah, I found that Queenslanders don't like swimming in winter.
Really?
Yeah, so I picked up gridiron as my winter sport.
Yep.
That was awesome. So I played like on a team. We only had enough players just to make a team. So we played offense and defense. So I got to play quarterback and like defensive. So I got to do the tackling and throwing, which was great. And then had a knee reconstruction from that. So that was a year off. And then I found when I started the business and we bought a house, it was too risky not to, like if I had an injury, not to work and have an income. So I put that aside and I just play water polo locally, and I find racing's better. Like if I get an injury from car racing, it's worth it, whereas gridiron wasn't worth it.
Just not the fun, not the amount of fun that you have.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
The reward.
Yeah, it was fun, but there was also drama.
I guess that comes from team sport, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever you're involved in team, there's so many personalities.
Yeah, exactly. Our team was awesome, but the people outside of the team running the league, it was touch and go.
Yeah, okay, yep. And Americans don't wear mouth guards.
Not in water polo. They just chew gum.
That's incredible. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was so weird.
So it keeps their teeth locked into place.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I wonder how many bars of gum they need though. Like
Probably
it needs 2?
Oh, at least.
Because one your teeth would still touch.
Yeah. So they just sit there and chew gum throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although I never wore a mouth guard in water polo, and I just used to get poked in the eye heaps. So.
No goggles either.
No. Can you imagine? Like they fog up. Sorry guys, just wait. Just need to unfog them.
Time out.
Yeah.
Very cool. For the Toby part, the
Yes.
Toby piece, where can people see it when it does become online and everything like that?
Well,
What will happen there?
we'll only we're gonna do a reveal to Toby. Toby will be the first person to see it. I was half thinking of just doing a little stickman picture and being like, finished.
Yeah, he'd love that.
See what he says.
Yep.
And then from there, the finalists will be announced from Brisbane Portrait Prize. And if it's announced as a finalist, then it'll be online and then it'll be on display at the Powerhouse for a couple of months, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed it goes in there because it's something that people actually should see.
I know. I can't. I've been so tempted to just put it on the internet, and I have to restrain myself.
Is there a rule with the Portrait Prize that it can't be revealed completely either?
No, you could just show anyone whenever. Yeah, I don't think they care.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't know. Don't think so. Is it a trick question?
No trick question. So we've been going for an hour and 10.
Oh, awesome.
First Harley's just started up, so that was
Excellent.
that was a bit later than we thought.
Yeah.
But where can we find you online?
www.carlabenzie.com.au.
And social media?
Which page? God, there's Carla Benzie on Instagram. There's Carla Benzie Artist on Instagram. So if you don't like tattoos, you can just follow the artist one. If you like both, follow the Carla Benzie one. And same with Facebook, Carla Benzie on Facebook.
Yep.
And then there's different pages for art and tattoos.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
I can't
for
wait
having
to
me.
see you try and hopefully win that prize.
No, I'll win.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it.
Well, I can't wait to see it at the Powerhouse.
Yeah, thank you. With the winning sticker thingy on it.
For sure.
Yeah.
And once again, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.